Tonight, I want to talk about how amazing mentors changed my life. But first, I want to start at the end. I want to show you guys how great mentorship and 7 years of hard work resulted in a pretty amazing thing happening, the 3-minute thesis experience and winning the 3-minute thesis at CU Boulder. So, are you guys ready? I'm going to condense 7 years of research into just 3 minutes. Okay, get ready. All right. What if I told you something this small, a hearing aid, could fight dementia? Would you go to the audiologist and have your hearing tested? I want you all to imagine for a minute that your brain is like a gas tank, and it contains only a finite amount of fuel. As our hearing gets worse as we age, our brain burns more fuel. More fuel goes to listening, and more fuel goes to comprehending. But the more fuel, the more cognitive resources devoted just to listen, the less fuel there is for other stuff, like memory. Now, I want you to all imagine running like this, on empty, for 10 years. This is the average amount of time an adult with hearing loss waits before seeking treatment. Now, hearing loss is a little more common than some of you might think. How many of you guys are over the age of 50? About half of us in this room, when we reach the age of 50, about half of us will start to show signs of hearing loss. And by the time we're 80% of us will have a hearing loss. Next to hypertension and arthritis, it's actually the third most common chronic health condition in older adults. Despite this statistic, only about 15% of us have ever had a hearing test. But what if I told you that hearing loss, when left untreated, is linked to lasting consequences? First, hearing loss is linked to cognitive decline. Risk of dementia increases 2 to 5-fold when hearing loss is present. Second, hearing loss is linked to structural and functional changes in the brain. Hearing parts of the brain literally atrophy or may be repurposed by other senses, like vision and touch. And third, hearing loss takes an emotional toll. People with hearing loss are 2 times more likely to be depressed. Just like hearing loss has been linked to cognitive decline, so too has depression and social isolation. So what do we do about it? That's where my research comes in. I'm an audiologist and a cognitive neuroscientist, and for my PhD thesis, I took a group of adults with normal hearing and a group of adults with early-stage mild hearing loss. Some of these adults didn't even know that they had hearing loss when they came into the study. I looked at differences in baseline brain function, cognitive function, and social-emotional status between the two groups. I then fit the adults with hearing loss with a pair of state-of-the-art hearing aids. And guess what? Within 6 months of hearing aid use, the hearing loss group was already showing signs of more typical brain function. Important aspects of memory, like executive function and processing speed, had improved. And this is mild hearing loss. I leave you with this thought. Routine screens like mammograms are standard of care when we reach our 50s. Why not hearing screenings? What if one small change, going to the audiologist, having your hearing tested, trying a pair of hearing aids, might have a bigger, more long-lasting impact than you think? What do you guys think? 7 years of research, 3 minutes. Sounds a little crazy, it was. But this is just one example of one of the amazing experiences that was offered by CU Boulder, by the graduate school, that really puts PhD students outside of their element and provides us with mentorship, helps us with our professional development, helps us feel comfortable getting in front of people and talking about our research and making it matter to the audience. So let's go back to the beginning. When I started at CU Boulder back in 2010, I was an undergraduate. I had just transferred to CU. I was shy, I was reserved. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't know what audiology was. I didn't even know what a PhD was or what it really took to get a PhD. I had no idea. And in my wildest dreams, I would have never imagined that years later, I would graduate from CU Boulder with my doctorate in audiology, a combined triple PhD in neuroscience, cognitive science, and speech and hearing science, and within a week of my dissertation, have 3 job offers in front of me. CU has been amazing. But when I really think about it, do any of you guys listen to that podcast? It's called How I Built This by Guy Raz. And at the end of the podcast, he asked them, how much of this would you attribute to hard work, and how much would you attribute this to luck? Well, I think he's missing one piece. I think he's missing the mentorship piece. Mentorship is huge. And when I think about why I'm standing here today in front of you guys, it's because of the mentors I have along the way. I am thankful to have many amazing mentors at CU Boulder, but one of them is my PhD advisor, Dr. Sharma. I remember meeting her in 2010. I was in my first year of classes at CU Boulder, and she was a guest lecturer in my class. She was coming in to talk about hearing loss and the brain. And I remember seeing her up there in front of the classroom, so enthusiastic and excited. She was jumping around, and whenever any student asked a question, a big smile would light up on her face. And before she responded and gave her answer, she would always ask the class, well, what do you think first? She has been the most influential person in getting me to where I am today, and it is because of 7 years of mentorship and insight and challenges that I'm standing where I am today. So I want you all to take a minute and think about the mentors that you have had in your life. Maybe some of them were mentors at CU Boulder. And just take a minute to say thank you for that. And after spending a year working in industry, I am super excited to announce that I've accepted a faculty position back at CU Boulder. I'm super excited to be teaching in the same department that trained me, working alongside students, helping them figure out what are you passionate about, and helping them find their herd. Thank you.